It's also very illogical. No, I'm not kidding. No, I'm not doing the long note. Captain's Pod, Stardate 21-12-15.5. Welcome aboard the Starship Enterprise, and thank you for joining us on our continuing voyages through the final frontier. I'm your Captain Ian Whittington, and with me as always, she went on shore leave and all she got was this lousy marriage. It's Ambassador Deneé.
What do you mean this lousy marriage? Are we miserable already?
No, we're pretty happy. We sound pretty happy.
It's been a really exciting week, but we have to say that we missed you and thank you for all of the well wishes for Ian. He's still not actually better yet.
No, we've been recording for about 15 minutes and I've coughed for 11 of them. So, I mean, we'll see how this goes. I'm managing to suppress it right now, down with my other emotions. But I think I can get through it. I think I can get through this episode. This is not my biggest concern. My biggest concern this week, Ambassador, is that I'm going to make you hate another character.
Okay.
I'm genuinely worried that this is going to affect your perspective on a character you like.
Well, let's just be clear. You've never made me feel any way about anything.
Fair.
Those are my
Absolutely
choices that I get to make on instant judgment of entire character arcs with zero context.
Based on me introducing you to not a terrible episode, but an episode that isn't fully representative.
And for anybody who is super new, this is stemming from a very real moment when I watched an episode where Worf married Jadzia on Deep Space Nine, and I instantly hated her. And apparently people love Jadzia.
Yes, they do, universally.
So I kind of was on the outskirts, and during the live show, there were chatters going, "Oh no, Deneé, no, you don't know what you're doing." And I just kept going. I kept railing on this character, and you know what? I have had a couple of other episode experiences with Jadzia where, she's a little better than what I thought, but still not my favorite. So you're right. It is a little dangerous, but that's what we do on Captain's Pod. We're jumping around. We're not really doing massive character studies. Also, this is still firmly in the what the fuck trek. We're not into our new season yet,
so we skipped a week a little bit. We had a bit of buffer time, but we have 2 more episodes this week and next week of What the Fuck, What the Fun Star Trek. The final episode has been decided. Hang around until the end of the episode to know what your homework for next week is, unless you've already been onto the Discord and the Ian and Deneé Patreon, where it's all on there as well. But this week we are doing Voyager, Tinker, Tenor, Doctor Spy, a title that I keep continuously getting wrong.
Tinker, Tenor, Tampanta.
Firmly in What the Fun for me, several moments, what the fuck, and they're the moments I'm slightly concerned about, but I think you have a strong enough footing with this character where they can survive. But based on that title, Ambassador, what do you think is going to happen this week in our penultimate episode of the season?
It sounds like a saying that I should know.
It is a saying. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy is the name of a book and movie. So
if it's the name of a book or a movie, this is probably going to be a holodeck episode.
A holodeck episode?
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah. What character? Okay, wait, which one are we in? Are we in TOS?
We're in Voyager.
Voyager. Who am I going to hate that everybody loves in Voyager? We know it's not Neelix.
Yeah, we know it's not Neelix.
Everybody hates on Neelix, so we know that's not it.
If you don't hate Janeway after her doing a genocide, nothing will make you hate her, so she's safe.
She's safe. I don't know who everybody loves.
I'm more worried that it's somebody you love.
B'Elanna?
You don't know B'Elanna.
You don't know B'Elanna. Everybody knows B'Elanna.
What's her last name?
Galana. Moana B'Elanna.
It's not Moana B'Elanna. B'Elanna is her first name.
Moana B'Elanna Ding Dong?
No, it is not.
So what if I don't know her? Oh, it's the doctor, isn't it? Oh, it's the doctor. You're going to fuck with the doctor. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. What's he gonna do? My oh my. Okay, so is he gonna kill people? No, I wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that on Voyager. Not like real people. What would the doctor do? So obviously what we like about him is his wittiness and kind of charm. So he's not gonna be that. which means he's not going to be super fun to watch. He's going to be mean. He's going to torture. Oh, is he going to kill a cat? What a dick.
Oh, Jesus. Before we get into the episode proper, Deneé, you might remember during Shore Leave, I think it was in the outtakes, or it might have actually been during the proper episode, we were talking about what it would take to make a Star Trek movie and like what it would need to be original and to be like brand new. And was it even possible? Is it possible to make a Star Trek movie that wasn't on the Enterprise, that wasn't with our crew? Like, because you talked about like you want it to be a surprise at the end, that suddenly it was the Klingons that did it. Like,
I think it'd be interesting, yeah.
You make this sci-fi adventure and then suddenly in the last second reveal it's in the Star Trek universe. It blows my fucking mind because days later, Paramount announce they've greenlit a new Star Trek movie that will be completely disconnected from anything we know. It will not be on the Enterprise. It will not be any characters that we've heard of ever before. We don't know when it's going to be set, but a brand new adventure, new people in the Star Trek universe. Days after we had that conversation. Just to fuck me, because I said, I don't think we'll ever have a movie that's not set on the Enterprise or that isn't with people that we know. And they just like, fuck you, Ian. We're gonna do it from scratch. Insane timing.
You know, I am plugged in to something big. I don't understand it, but time to time, I shock even myself.
It's crazy. I am genuinely excited for this because we watched Dungeons and Dragons together, the most recent Dungeons and Dragons movie. It's the directors of that movie are doing this. That feels good. I like that.
Yeah, I remember the Dungeons and Dragons movie, and it definitely was a pretty much a comedy.
Oh yeah, comedy. Yeah, they are comedy writers because their other movie is Game Night, and that's the oh no he died movie where they get sucked into the plane.
Yeah,
engine. Yeah, they are comedy writers, which is interesting.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that we're going to be looking also at something that's more of a comedy, and maybe that's because Lower Decks was really successful and people are kind of ready for something that feels a little bit lighter instead of sort of that more serious origin story Batman Begins vibe, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
we may be moving into a new period. Okay, well, let's head over to the holodeck to watch the episode. We'll see you in 10 Forward. Maybe via sick bay as I suppress a cough. For a full debrief. Damn it, I nearly made it. 2 to beam out. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab something from the replicator and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched together.
Yeah.
Most important question first, Ambassador. What would you like from the replicator?
Why do I never think of this anymore?
Yeah, it's kind of evaporated from your brain.
I mean, this is we're coming up on the 4th year of doing this show.
Yeah.
And I think about year 2 is when my brain started to just forget about it.
It wasn't sooner?
I think I made it a couple years remembering.
I think I would love to pinpoint the moment when it really I think I messed it up. Yeah, I think I messed it up. I know I can pinpoint when I messed it up. It's when we moved from beverage to thing. And I started picking things instead of beverages and you took issue with that.
Yeah, that's when it all happened.
You disengaged from it at that point.
Quickly.
You're like, well, nothing matters.
Well, it's either going to be an imaginary Neelix birthday cake or hypo spray.
Well, I'm picking a hypo spray.
For your sickness?
Because sometimes you just have to find a way to load a hypo spray. I will give you the sign. Just aim for his behind. Hormones are raging, synapses blazing. It's all so very illogical. No, I'm not kidding. No, I'm not doing the long note. I'm amazed I didn't cough all the way through that. I would not recommend having Neelix's cake, by the way.
It's imaginary. It has to be great.
Ambassador, give us a synopsis.
Okay, so this is one of those episodes of Star Trek where you are thrown into what imaginary scenarios and then real scenarios and then imaginary scenarios and real scenarios. And then the imaginary scenarios impact the real scenarios and everything turns out just fine.
Yes. I would argue it doesn't, because we now live in a world where the EMH might be in command of Voyager, and I don't think, by definition, that means everything is all right.
We need to talk about that.
Yeah, we really do. That's,
Let's put a pin in that one.
We'll put a pin in that one, and my note for it is going to be, why can Data if the Doctor can't? Ambassador, overall thoughts and feelings. Did you enjoy this episode?
I enjoyed today's episode. Yeah. I think this episode's really interesting because it is starting to play around with the idea that the Doctor is a person and the Doctor wants...
Ouch! The Doctor is a person.
The Doctor is a program.
Oh, you are firmly on that side of the argument.
I'm just saying what the show is telling us is happening.
He's a person.
So anyway, the episode's playing around with like pushing more the sentience, that the program wants to become more than what it already is, and begins to experiment with trying, since the Doctor can't do more and has been restricted, it alters its program to imagine doing more. Mm-hmm. And then it adds in a really unexpected element, which is that there's this species that's spying on the ship who sees those imaginations. And I think that's a really clever thing to do. And it made the episode kind of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I really love this episode. This is one of my go-to favorites for Voyager, mainly because of the cold open. I absolutely adore it. But overall, I think it's...
Oh, because of Tuvok?
Because of Tuvok
and
the singing.
Oh, it's such a shocker.
It's so great. But I love the question at the core of it, which is, should the Doctor be able to do more? Mm-hmm. And what should his limits be? What makes him a person? Should he be judged by the same human limitations? Why is it different to handing it over to the computer, which everybody has an issue with? I would say, why is it different to handing it over to Data as well? The Doctor would seem to be more capable of interpreting emotions and things than Data does. So I don't think there's an interesting philosophical question at its core, and it's so fun because it's what happens when his imaginations go wild, and that could have been the episode. It could have just been about trying to get the Doctor out of his imaginings and how that goes haywire. But instead they overlay, what if some aliens were spying on Voyager but only got his daydreams? Great. It's a really ambitious episode that packs in a huge amount. I love it.
It does. It packs in a lot. There's humor, there's curiosity, there's a mystery. But I think humor is really a dominant episode. This would be firmly in a Star Trek comedy list. If you wanted to show somebody an episode that is probably going to get a few laughs, I think this would be a good bet. Even if they hadn't seen Voyager before, I feel like it does a lot of really fun things. Starting off, like you said, with that cold open, there's a lot of really witty lines in there. Even, he's gone without for 7 years. Like
the entire
that is spilling
limerick
some Tuvok tea that none of us asked for.
You have just gone without for 7 years about. It's so
load of
good.
hypo spray. So hormones are raging, synapses blazing. It's all so illogical. It's so funny and good. And you're right. It's a great cold open.
Yeah, I adore that. This might be one of the funniest episodes of Star Trek. I mean, I've seen all of them. I don't know off the top of my head. I would love that to be answered. Email in what you think your funniest episode of Star Trek is. Straight humor comedy.
And that's
I
really
don't know if there's one that's
too.
funnier than this.
Yeah, because, humor is really subjective. Like somebody might think that Darmok or whatever is just super funny.
No, I don't think anybody thinks that. They're all thinking that's top-notch, fantastic Star Trek.
Right, of course.
Top list, all the way around.
Yeah, all the way around.
Yeah.
But that's, I think overall it would be firmly a comedy that has a couple of really good points to put it. And it's also really fun because I don't remember there being a lot of moments where we all of a sudden cut to a completely different alien species that is so like The Office or like,
that's
you know what I mean?
funny.
Just this little look at what life is like for just some normal dudes on a ship whose job is just to scan for things going by. And there is a whole hierarchy to, making sure that they're doing their thing. And I loved their ship so much. Yes. And I love the prosthetics so much, even though I think in my notes I called them, let me just read it real quickly. I said,
What did you call them, Ambassador?
Hold on, I got to go find it.
Stand up at the front of class and tell everybody what you called them.
I called them deep sea diving turds because it looked like we were in a submarine and they had all like the deep sea diving looking sort of uniforms on, and we only saw them from the back and they just have a very turd-esque head.
Potato, Deneé. They are clearly potatoes.
That is a pile of shit if I have ever seen one. And what I loved about the prosthetics so much is there's a moment when one of them sort of is like exasperated and kind of holds his breath and puffs his cheeks out, and the air goes into his upper lip and pushes it out.
Yes, it's one of my favorite prosthetics. It deliberate, and I know it's deliberate because like there's a nose that like pushes, so it's like breathing, and then it just inflates his top lip, and it gives them so much character as aliens because that's something that humans can't do. That's a bit of their like expression. That's how they express themselves very clearly. Not just by exhaling. Like they do a humph and it inflates their top lip.
I can do that. You can do that too.
By blowing out of your nose.
No, you just blow into your mouth.
No, but that's what I didn't
know podcast listener, you're not seeing it, but he absolutely just did it, proving my point. We can move on now.
We can move on.
But I loved these people. I thought they were really interesting because at the crux of their story is this one guy who fucks up and then he is trying to cover it up. And that's the only reason that Voyager survives their situation is that he has his own cover up. And it really it makes us feel, what's the word ingratiated?
Relatable.
Yes. We are ingratiated to them. Where like, I saw myself in him. He saw himself in the doctor and being kind of overlooked, and he wants to subvert and go above his commander, and he does that, and then he has to deal with that. It was just a really interesting little side story that had, for me, it paid off really, really well, and it was really fun.
They're one of the most fleshed out in a single episode aliens one of the most that I can think of, especially in Voyager. They do reappear, but pretty much all of their world building and establishing what they are, other than their names, we don't get their names in the episode. But we get so much. They're a species of bureaucrats, and everything has to be to the letter. It has to be approved by management upstairs, the hierarchy.
I loved it.
We do find out that they're called the overseers or the overlookers. Let me just
the hierarchy.
Overlookers. So the species apparently are called the overlookers, but their bosses up top, their Starfleet command, are called the hierarchy, and they have a direct line to them to approve absolutely everything.
I love it so much.
But you're right about that office vibe. You immediately get a feel for these really stickling, nitpicking bureaucrats, and this guy in particular, our main character, is adorable. He was
great.
He's so relatable. We've all kind of overcommitted before we've had all of the facts, and his is just blown up so bad.
Well, he kind of like leans over to his buddy. He's like, I fucked up. It's just, it wasn't, sometimes we'll see like Klingons, we'll see Romulans, we'll see aggressive sort of counterparts out there. And this was people just like us. And that was really, really fun and unexpected. And they had that humor beat as well. So even though there was something really serious going on, it was really the humor that led this. And you got to see the entire crew really getting to kind of express themselves in unique ways. Every character on Voyager finds themselves in very literally strange positions at times.
Oh my.
With like Janeway being able to be really emotive and smiling and like very happy, and Tuvok obviously showing a lot of emotion in the beginning. So even though they're daydreams and they're not real, those actors still got a chance to do something really unique.
Yeah, there's a good sprinkling of dialogue and roles throughout the episode that brings almost everybody in to say something at some point.
And oftentimes we see that being able to be done like in the holodeck, for example, which I thought we were going to be in the holodeck, and kind of
are. Yeah,
we
your
were
prediction
kind of in the holodeck's imagination, which is interesting.
I smiled when you predicted that because I was like, it kind of is an internal holodeck episode.
But you usually would see it in the holodeck where it's a program that's exaggerating somebody's, personality, or they're really giving in to just being able to be something different and be a ship captain or, be one of the Robin Hood's men or something like this. But this was kind of really unique. So I think it's fun when you watch an episode of Star Trek and they do something different. And this was really different for me. So I think that's why I liked it. Especially
I know this is a weird way to say it. This is in some ways season 13. And this is a weird way to say that because we've had 7 seasons of TNG and this is season 6 of Voyager. So we've had 13 years of this era of Star Trek being on screen basically every week with a few gaps. And to still do something brand new and like a new spin on a story it blows my mind. I love it so much. This was mentioned in the live chat. It's a really good point that I want to note is that the main hierarchy guy, the main overlooker guy.
The boss or the one that's messing up?
Our main character, boss, our protagonist of the aliens. He follows a pattern of if you have an actor and a character that really nails the part and nails the species, it can give you the entire species. So Quark and Armin Shimmerman as a Ferengi gave us the Ferengi in so many ways. Worf gives us the Klingons. This guy, I love these aliens so much because he does such a good job of characterizing them and embodying what this new species is. And if you can pull that trick off, that's the difference between having like bland alien of the week that we kind of forget about, and then this guy. And one of my notes was there's a Jim Henson quality to the character design as well for me with the flappy bit. But there's also his little buddy that's off to the side. And when the boss of the ship is like, do you have something to say? And he gives this like Bunsen. Nope. Is it Bunsen or is it, what's his assistant? The tall skinny one. There's Dr. Bunsen. And then he just goes, meep. That's all that he does.
From the Muppets?
Beaker. His nope it makes me think of Beaker. And it's so like, it feels not very Star Trek because it's so cartoony, but he just jumps up and goes, nope, and then dives around the corner.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Love that. It's
very
good shit.
Comedic timing, of course.
Very much. What were the what the fuck moments or what the fun moments for you, Ambassador?
I mean, the whole episode is filled with them because we're inside of I think what the episode is trying to say, and correct me if you think this is wrong, is that when the doctor alters his programming to begin to be able to daydream so that he can sort of live out a bit of a fantasy world, at some point it is corrupted and it begins to get more and more extreme. And the corruption comes from being observed by this.
Well, that's never confirmed.
Poopy manatee people.
Yeah, it's definitely implied. And the doctor says that's why it went wrong.
Yes.
But also the doctor can be very egotistical and vain. So I think it brings him some comfort to assume that it was his meddling, not the doctor fucking up the program himself. So I think it's ambiguous, to be honest. But yeah, I think probably 75% we're meant to believe it's the alien's fault, not the doctor's, because there is like an immediate overlap. As soon as he interferes, it starts to go wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess for me, the biggest what the fuck is Tuvok at the beginning. And then the rest of it is just a lot of me going, well, that's not real, right? Okay, that wasn't real.
Yes.
Voyager is paced really, I guess if we're going to do pacing comparisons, it's more like lower decks for me in a way where
that's fair.
It kind of just keeps clipping along. And I've been watching TNG a lot this week because Ian's parents are living with us, and
for 2 weeks.
Listen,
to
when Ian told us that his parents like to watch Star Trek, he's not lying. It is just if the TV is on in the morning and it is TNG, it is TOS, it is Star Trek from top to bottom, unless something else needs to be watched. So I have been absorbing like through just like walking through the room or sitting down and working on my computer, more TNG than I have in years. By the way, loving it.
Mm-hmm.
But the pacing is really interesting. It's like they sit in their moment a little bit. There's
very much
these moments when like Picard will just look really thoughtfully and then speak. But Voyager is different. I mean, it's there's not really a lot of blank spaces to really stop and go, what did I just watch? But certainly in our conversations, we're going to run across quite a few what the fuck moments, and most of them have to do with how horny the Doctor might be.
Well, that's an excellent transition, because not last week, but the week before when we did Shore Leave, you said that Shore Leave was the sexiest episode of Star Trek yet. Would you like to amend that to this episode being the sexiest episode of Star Trek yet?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Obviously, the one that stands out is the briefing room scene where B'Elanna, Seven, and Janeway are all fawning over the Doctor.
Oh, that's the one you go to, not her being painted nude?
That doesn't have to be sexual, Deneé. That can just be appreciating the human form.
True.
There was nothing sexual in that moment.
No, you're right. Absolutely. He didn't even paint her nipples.
He deliberately, I imagine that they aren't there because he can't imagine them. Perhaps they're actually just blank.
I think absolutely he knows what an aerial looks like.
Oh, he absolutely does. What did McCoy say? When I peek, it's in the line of duty. That's exactly it. Yeah, what a perv, my goodness.
It starts with B'Elanna's little naked foot under the table, and then that was like wait, what am I seeing? You know, and also I'm not as used to Voyager, so maybe B'Elanna is like
nope.
But no.
But no.
Yeah, it's very much all of the women are fighting over the man scene, and he even grabs Janeway's hands and like puts her hands on her body, and
well, she does the grabbing. She grabs his hand.
That's what I meant.
And
she grabs
floats
his hand.
them down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That in particular. So there are two moments that I said at the top of the show. I was worried that I was going to ruin the Doctor for you, and the two of them are the imagining all of the lovey stuff with Janeway and B'Elanna and Seven of Nine, and the real life drawing that he does as well. Did that feel icky to you? Did that make you like a bit eye rolly? Did that gross you out? Or did you take it in the way the episode presents it, which is, it's your fantasies. You're allowed to think what you think. It isn't your fault that we got to look in on it.
So here's the truth. Oddly, it didn't hit immediately into a this is disgusting place for me. Even looking at Seven of Nine's mostly naked body, I wasn't immediately like, this is disgusting. And I don't know why. I don't know why I'm not really upset by it. Mm-hmm. But I think, again, the pacing of the show, we're just kind of clipping through, and I'm trying to write notes and keep up with what's happening, because while we're seeing these things, they're talking about important information for what's going to be happening. Like, for example, he wants to start this emergency command hologram thing. You know, he's asking to be seen as a person, and then he's like imagining himself in these really powerful positions. And so it is upsetting that a powerful position for him is to have anyone fawning over him like that in that kind of a way, where they move from being a powerful captain or a security officer or whatever. What is B'Elanna? Was she engineering?
She's the chief engineer. Engineering
and all that. It's like it's just, there is a reduction to it. There's a reducing a character to its most bland storytelling element, which is strong man, pretty woman. That's it, you know? So that is upsetting, but I don't think I connected with it in the moment enough to be like, well, I never want to watch this episode again.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I feel like it actually rides the line of being humorous, because it's so over the top. So the way B'Elanna is acting is clearly over the top. The way Seven is acting with the winks and the resist, using Borg metaphors and stuff, and then Janeway being like, damsel in distress, please help my back. I wonder if it's so over the top that it suspends your disbelief. It wasn't like them going on a date and he's womanizing everybody. It kind of feels like just a stray line of thought and imagination. And I wonder if that's it, because we do, like Janeway makes a great point, we do have imaginations. We all daydream crazy things because we can in our brains. And then it's up to us whether we act on them, and that's what we get judged by. Where it lands into icky for me is this pattern of how women are dressed up in Star Trek and how they are undressed in Star Trek and presented. And we see this specifically with Seven of Nine and T'Pol in Enterprise, with the onesies, the really skin-tight uniforms. This felt like, to me, an excuse to get Seven of Nine naked, an excuse to get Janeway, who isn't really who is very rarely sexualized in the show, to
Right.
sexualize her. Same with B'Elanna. Of all of the things the Doctor could have imagined, the writers chose to make it very sexy and to... So for me, it feels... I don't take a lot of issue with the character. I take a bit more issue with the writers using this as an advantage to get Jerry Ryan naked on screen. Right. That's where I'm like... And there's just a pattern of that throughout Voyager that
is it Voyager
icky.
or Star Trek in general?
It is this era. Yeah, no, it's TV in general. If we're going to keep expanding the umbrella, it's all of it. But there were specific complaints about this.
Oh, you mean like the actors?
Yeah.
I think without really derailing the show, I don't believe there's anybody that has watched advertisements, television, movies, anything. And nudity and sexuality captures attention. It can be shocking. It can kind of pull you, out of what you're watching or doing and make you stop and look. It can reset your brain. I think everyone who witnessed the glory of 7 of 9 as a example of what a womanly figure could look like, it's just a beautiful thing, right? But there is a problem, I feel like, that was happening in general in this era of television and movies and things, where the elevated appearance of a woman was more like 7 of 9 and not like what a normal woman looks like. And we still have this problem today, by the way. The presence of what a regular woman body looks like is just not something that's enjoyed, and like it's not elevated to the same level of like, this is like really good. Like this is the peak. This is what you go for. And it's really, really sad, but it's something that's been happening for a long time. With how many television shows are flooding the market when Voyager is out to capture attention, to get a new audience, to stand out, I can see why they would be reaching for the go-tos. You want to do something shocking, and you want to do something interesting, and you want to do something that captures attention. And I can understand why they would be reaching for doing something like this. I mean, we wouldn't have seen the same thing in TOS. Oh, wait, yes, we would have.
So, yeah, completely.
I don't know. It's just, I guess it's not really surprising in some ways to me. And because of the comedic angle, like you said, like the satire of it, or just the overtopness, it didn't seem like it was super dirty, but it is a really quick scrape the bottom to get attention. What can we do to capture people's attention? Well, let's make the women be more sexual. But you know what they didn't do?
What didn't they do?
They didn't turn all of the men into like horny apes. Just Tuvok a tiny bit at the beginning. But they didn't do that part. So at least they didn't reduce everybody. Like to me, the Doctor was firmly planted in that I'm the hero stance. I'm the best in my imagination.
I'm the protagonist.
Like, he wasn't really getting super, super into it. He was more just like thinking about like the next way that he could be the superhero guy. Like rather than sinking into the romance of it, it was just the women were fawning, and that was part of it. So maybe that's another reason why I didn't get into the super ick for me. I don't know.
Well, and the interesting part is that he's talking to Janeway about wanting respect and attention and recognition from the crew, and that ties into this. There's an element of like professional recognition that he wants from Janeway, and then obviously there's the recognition that he wants from 7 of 9 and B'Elanna, just as like validation that he is a person as well, and that he exists. So I think the fact that they tie into that desire that's mentioned at the top of the episode is really important. I want to backpedal a little bit. I think when you said like regular or normal women, did you mean like there's a variety on screen? Because you would think that based on what we see on TV, that is regular and that is normal, but there is a whole spectrum of what a woman and what a man can look like on screen as well. There is no regular, there is no normal, but we do get a very narrow view on television. Yes,
and I'm glad you're bringing up the men as well. There is certainly, more conversation, more open conversation about women, and rightfully so. But yeah, I mean, everything on TV was looking pretty much like like very GQ.
Very, very much. Well, let's roll back to the very beginning of the episode, because I haven't finished gushing about the cold open. Okay. I love it so much. I love the Doctor singing. The Doctor has a penchant for singing throughout the series. Any chance that Robert Picardo has to flex his acting chops, I absolutely adore. He's in a very similar bucket to Brent Spiner for me in the variety and expressionism that he gets to give. And this tune that they wrote, the limericks that they wrote to go with the opera, lives in my head the definition of rent-free. I can recite it backwards, forwards. I think it's so clever, it's so fun, and it was so shocking for me who, when I first watched it, why wouldn't I think this is a real episode, a real thing that's happening? I was like, that's so clever, and I thought it was 100% happening, because Tuvok hasn't... Wait, no, he has had his Ponfar. That's the giveaway. He has had his Ponfar at this point.
I wouldn't know.
So he hasn't gone without for 7 years. That's the giveaway. I've just done it in my head. That would have been the giveaway. But as a kid, I hadn't seen that episode yet, I don't think.
As a kid, did you know what a Ponfar was?
I think I figured it out thanks to this episode.
Probably.
Yeah, I love
the
it.
The Great Awakening of what sex is from this episode.
Oh yeah, everything I learned about sex, I learned from Vulcans. Oh no, that explains so much.
That's funny.
Yeah, love that cold open so much. I obviously heard you chuckling along to it. What did you think of it? What were you thinking in the moment? And did you at any point think, what's going on here? Is this weird? Or was it kind of real enough at that point to not give anything away? Until B'Elanna walks in and says, hello, Doctor.
When I knew it was not real was when they were standing up and clapping and no one was giving a fuck about Tuvok on the floor. And so I wrote, because there's like a stool. He puts his leg up on the stool like Riker, and then he sits down on the stool. Everyone's clapping. Flowers are flying. I say, no one gives a fuck about Tuvok. This is a dream.
Oh, that's amazing. You called it.
Well, yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess that's over the top because they're doing the applause, they're throwing the flowers and whatnot.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Like who we've seen people perform many times in TNG and things like that, where like they'll get out their flutes or whatever and they'll have like a little concert or they'll like recite poetry. So that wasn't abnormal to me at all.
No.
But once Tuvok goes crazy, and he's done going crazy and he keeps singing, I was like, no. In a real scenario, it'd be like, okay, let's get Tuvok to sick bay.
Something seriously is happening here.
Yeah, exactly.
Quick immediate correction on that point. Thank you, Wandering Winder, in the live chat, who has just reminded me that Tuvok's Ponfar actually happens in season 7. So they do wait 7 years, which means he just Ponfar'd before the start of Voyager. And then his Ponfar stuff happens in season 7. So it would have been, there is nothing wrong with that daydream. It would have absolutely passed muster, as they say. Well, if we're going through some chronological bits, we have the next bit is on the bridge. And this is, I really love this because this is the Doctor writing his letter of grievance to Janeway. Even this is funny because it's like to Captain Janeway, USS Voyager, from the Doctor, USS Voyager, as if this letter could have been coming from anywhere else, but he wants to lodge this official complaint. And I guess it's a while since I've seen this episode. We're in season 6, so for me, I was a little bit surprised to remember that even 6 years in, the crew still aren't treating him like a fully fledged individual. Like, he has grievances. And, like, it starts off at the beginning of the episode where B'Elanna says, if you're not treating anybody or working on anything, you should turn yourself off to save us power.
I agree.
B'Elanna...
Go on.
You are going to love B'Elanna. If we do a series on... I don't know why I haven't made this connection.
I am B'Elanna.
You are not Jadzia. You are not Beverly. You are not Deanna. You are actually B'Elanna. We should do a run of B'Elanna. You are so half Klingon. You are half Klingon, half Vulcan.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I'm baffled I haven't put that puzzle together.
He should turn himself off.
He shouldn't. He has the right to be, right?
I mean, that is the question this episode is asking, and I think it's a really interesting question to ask. It's a unique question. Having watched what happens when Data takes over a ship, he absolutely should not have any power, period.
So do you think Data should be switched off when he's not on duty?
That's horrible. Why would you say that?
Thank you. Why is that different? And there is a difference between androids and holograms in the Star Trek universe.
No, he shouldn't because he has more functions than the Doctor.
Does he?
Yeah.
What functions?
I mean, he's everything that the show needs him to be and more, which I'm sure
Same as
is
the
what the
doctor.
doctor is as well. But the doctor's job is to doctor.
The Data's job is to be at ops.
But he's also security. He also helps with security. He goes on away missions. He does all kinds of things.
I think so does the doctor. The doctor does all of those things as well. And as soon as he gets his mobile emitter, he's fully mobile. I think what just clicked into my head is the initial purpose of their creation. So the doctor was programmed to be an emergency stopgap doctor. Data was designed to be a human. He was like, his creator was like, can I make a human without going the childbirth route? But can I create an organism?
Right.
A fully fledged one. And that was not the original purpose of the doctor.
So chat brought this up. It was my question too, but like Data is on his own power source and they are in sheer survival mode out in the middle of nowhere and shouldn't be using their resources. So it's a different situation.
Okay. I love that. I love this so much. So put everybody in stasis when they're not on duty.
Great.
Shut down the holodecks.
Great.
Like, but this is what I'm saying. Like, they can't say that to the doctor when they're not doing it themselves. They all have their rec time. They all use the holodeck. They could just be sedated when they're not on duty, so that they're using less oxygen, less resources. If they're medically able to do that and not like experience organ failure at some point from having to be put down and brought back over and over again. Yeah, absolutely. If they had that ability, they would not be using it. So that's what I'm getting at. Like, B'Elanna saying that to the doctor, you can turn off everybody on the ship and it would be more efficient. So it's not about saving energy. It's about he has less value as a person and therefore can be turned off. How do you define a person? Why isn't he a person?
He's a program. He is a lovable, amazing program. Yes, Data is also a program. 100%.
So they're not valid?
No, they're valid. It's just that it's just different. Data is an android with a personality that can be altered. I just watched an episode of TNG. Again, thank you parents for being here for this one, where he alters his program to become someone's lover.
Yeah. The doctor can do that as well.
The doctor can do that as well. Yeah. It's a program alteration because they're a program.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm saying anything nasty. It's not like I'm bitching about Jadzia here.
No, but it's just the fact that there is something that should be forced upon him that isn't forced upon the other members of the crew. That's what I'm getting at.
So this came up in TNG with the holodeck with Moriarty as well, right? Like,
100%.
There is a program that becomes sentient, that wants to survive, that wants to live outside of the holodeck, wants to live. And I love that exploration. But ultimately, it is still a program that has to live inside of something, and it has to be like cared for. And when you're in an environment where you're trying to get back home, I just feel like unless it's needed, you would limit those powers and bring them back when you can. And is that fair to them? No, but I can't, like, if I can shut myself off and save the power and then come back when I'm needed, I would do that if that was survival, but that's not what the show is kind of talking about. The show is specifically focusing on the doctor.
Yeah.
And for those purposes, I agree with B'Elanna, especially because he goes a little cuckoo bananas.
Man, I can't agree with it. Like, and the intangible thing that I can't get past my brain is, and this is the same with Data. This is the same with Data. How much of it is self-aware, or is that just programming that I'm talking to? Like, am I actually having a conversation with a thinking, living being, or an AI chatbot that is really, really good at imitating life? Like, and that's really hard. Like, does the doctor actually feel these things, or is he just programmed to emulate them? And that is different from humans who actually think and feel and live. And that's the really hard bit with holograms, is they're not much different from the replicator or the ship's computer giving you an answer.
Rude. But here's the truth. This episode is really interesting. It's pressing in on them saying, we don't want you to excel beyond the boundaries of this. And I think that's wrong. I think they should allow the doctor to begin to explore other roles that could help. But what they're saying is that we have those roles covered. What we don't have is someone doing what you can do. So I think it's a really valid situation. Sometimes you're in group situations, whether you're like going to college or you're in a job and you know you can do someone else's job, but that's not what they've asked you to do. You need to stay in your lane and do your job. And when you're in survival mode, I think it's more important than ever. So him wanting to explore and expand, and this being something that he bitches and moans about because his programming is to be a sassy, kind of a character.
Yes.
The crew very adamantly is like, here he goes again. He's going to want to take over the ship. They know what his personality is. And it's hard, but you hit a line at some point. Even Picard gives people that line at some point. They're like, sorry, you cannot do this because I need you in this role. So why is that different for a quote unquote real person when a captain can say, no, stay in your lane and that's okay. But it's not okay when we tell a hologram to do it?
Because the hologram is more capable. He doesn't have the same limitations.
But this show also says they have their own set of issues. They were able to spy completely on a ship through his wrong coding. They couldn't do that through any of the other people. They could do it through him because he is a program. So he has his own, we can't pretend like Data is a perfect example. He is extremely dangerous, and although lovable, is terrifying, and at the end of the day probably needs to get shut down, go through some really strong diagnostic. I love his story so much because he gets to live his life and sacrifice himself and come back and just be like this really intricate part of what it means to be an AI, what it means to be a robot, what it means to be an android, what it means to be human. And they put it all in this really interesting character. So Star Trek is still exploring those ideas through this hologram character. And it's really, really brilliant and smart. And I would watch it over and over again because it's just a really interesting conversation to have.
No, it really is.
I don't know that there's a right answer to it.
No, I don't think there is.
But somebody did also in chat said 7 of 9 in her alcove is probably the line. You can't really turn her off to save ship power. So but
that's a biological function. She has to regenerate. That is her version of sleep.
Right.
If she doesn't use that alcove, she dies.
Right. So that's okay for power source. It is an interesting conversation to have. There's everybody on on Voyager ship should be
constant power saving.
About power saving.
Should be conserving energy at all points. Completely agree. I want to roll back really quick because I love this discussion so much, and this is a little bit devil's advocate. But you said about turning Data off because he's dangerous. What makes him dangerous?
Do you remember when he took over the Enterprise? I
do. So he was hacked. So
what makes him dangerous is a programming.
But how is that different from an...
By the way, I also saw an episode where Geordi got hacked.
That's what I'm saying. How is that different to a human being mind controlled or brain controlled? It's purely because we can turn Data off, we can't turn humans off.
Yep.
And just because we can doesn't mean we should. That's where, it's not about the ability to turn them off. It's whether that's morally the right thing to do to a sentient creature.
I think the turning off is the extreme question, but this episode is not trying to turn him off as much as it's trying to keep him inside his lane as much as possible. And I think that's an important distinction. B'Elanna is saying, turn yourself off, take a break, like resetting a computer system or something. We all need to refresh. We all need to turn the computers off and turn them back on. That's an important thing to do. I don't think she's saying,
that's not what she said.
She said to shut down.
She said you should shut down and conserve energy.
He should.
Not his energy, the ship's energy.
Yes, because he's part of the ship.
I know, but it feels so callous. It's we need to turn the tricorders off at night.
Sometimes you just got to say shit because you got to go do an away mission and get back to your stuff, buddy. Turn yourself off, and then that way you can be present. Nobody needs to walk in to sickbay and see a doctor singing and playing chess and daydreaming about titties. No one needs to see that. Is it interesting? Yes. I need you to fix my arm. That's why I'm here. Some people want to have a relationship with a doctor and be able to shoot the shit. So they wrote his programming in to be able to do that. Personally, I don't need that. Fix my arm. I got shit to do. I appreciate B'Elanna.
That's what they should have done. And I think they did it in the name of bedside manner and this interactive program is going to be more useful and better at problem solving. But when he crossed the line, the interesting thing is when he crossed the line into being sentient and self-aware, because then he's a slave. And if you're not giving him any rec
different
time or anything like that, he is a slave that is just used whenever he's needed, and then you switch him off. That's basically how they use him in season 1. So it's when they decided, oh, he is self-aware, he is sentient, he is a person. And is he, or is he just really sophisticated AI chatbot?
I don't know. The show is saying he is a person. Like, he, in this episode in particular, he's disappointed. He wants to go explore. He wants to see things. He wants to expand his programming. There's a desire that is built into his programming to be curious and to be ambitious. So if they didn't want that to happen, they could go in and alter the programming. And we know Janeway would very happily kill
any
being.
part of his programming.
And so if it's a problem, then she'll just go in and be like, sorry, I'm deleting that bit.
Well, guess what? That happens.
I have no question in my mind that happens.
It 100. They have to make a choice. The Doctor's program has expanded so much. They make a choice. They either lose him or delete everything he's learned.
If they're at a point where they've given him, like, he is a sentient being, and they've kind of addressed that in this show at this point, and I'm just not aware of that. This is season 6 after all. Mm-hmm. If he is a person and they've acknowledged him as a person, then this is a really interesting episode too, because he does deserve to have more respect and more conversation.
They haven't really done that.
This might be that kind of exploration of that character. It's really, really fascinating.
It's fascinating. It's such a great character study. For me, it's almost more interesting than Data, because the ambiguity of whether the Doctor is an individual is so interesting. It's so much more vague than Data, who is this self-contained unit that is just assumed to be like Spock, basically, like any other alien that you meet, but the Doctor is not.
Good stuff.
Man, it's good fucking shit. It's really, really, I could talk about that for ages and ages and ages.
And there's no way for us to land on the right answer. And also, if you have a thought about it, you're always welcome to email us anytime. We're probably going to be covering a lot of the chat's comments after the show is over, because there's a lot of really good points that are happening in the chat right now.
Heck yes. Pretty soon after that, get our spying aliens storyline. They had initially ignored Voyager because it was too secure. They couldn't get through the scanners. It was the shields. It was too high risk. And it was also like too much unknown because it's disappeared. I love where this goes so quickly. You get the oh no of, because one of the first things that he spies on is the Doctor going to his imaginary congratulations ceremony on becoming the emergency medical hologram. What were your thoughts in this moment about them spying? Where did you think it was going when you see them spying on the wrong thing?
For me, that kicked off with the Borg. Are we there yet? Or we can talk about the Borg?
We can get to the Borg, 100%.
Yeah, that was really the interesting part for me. First of all, what the fuck is a Borg sphere?
Oh, yeah. Well,
what the fuck is that?
This was introduced.
They're not supposed to be that way.
No, I don't.
I don't like it.
This is unsettling. This is where we find out that the Borg don't just like cubes, they just like shapes in general, because there are also Borg diamonds that appear. But I think the spheres were introduced in Voyager or the second TNG movie. I can't remember exactly. But they definitely appear the most in Voyager. So I guess when we get to there, did you for any moment assume that this was actually a Borg attack, or were you like, oh no, this is imaginary?
Well, I think it was imaginary because I'm not sure how the show would ever just immediately infect anybody that quickly.
Why isn't this a thing? Why are the Borg not throwing money at this? why isn't an airborne assimilation virus a thing that they can do? Because the nanoprobes are just in the tubules and they go into the neck. It shouldn't be that hard to aerosolize it. As soon as you introduce this into Star Trek, I'm immediately like, why isn't it game over? Why haven't they just entered this into space?
So yeah, I knew that this part was not real quickly, but it was still really fun to watch.
It's really fun, isn't it?
This episode has so much in it.
Much in it.
They all got to have such fun with prosthetics this day. Because they got to be assimilated, you know?
They got to whip out the assimilation drones. Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Chakotay has like a tube in his neck.
Yeah. And so then the turd guy is watching the overlords, the overwatchers, the overlookers are looking on and are seeing, you know, that this is what is real. And I think that's a really clever thing to do. And it's part of why I think this episode is interesting, because all of the moves that this other entity is making are based on, this very, very elaborate doctor. And it sets the humorous pace for the reality at the end when he has to step into the captain's chair and is not that guy.
It's so funny when he's just like saying how incredible the doctor is and he destroyed a Borg sphere. It's almost like talking on the playground. And it's like, my dad fought off 100 lions, and he just did that in the jungle one time. And he just has no idea how far off base he is. The photonic cannon is just so fun. Like,
yes. And I didn't know that wasn't a thing. So that was a nice surprise for me, because I was like, whoa, that's such a cool weapon. And then, the show reveals that it's actually not one, and the doctor made it up, which is great.
The photonic cannon. And I love the callback at the end of the episode where he tells Tuvok to activate the photonic cannon.
Yeah, it's so
and
great.
Everyone's just looking at each other. He's like, Mr. Tuvok is like, activating photonic cannon. It's the closest Tuvok gets to playing.
I also like, though, that, it's at this point when the aliens are able to say that the reason that, I don't know, that it's interesting for this guy to be like, this is why we can't see it. And we're able to watch through this person and see all this information, and he's just describing how incredible this person is. So the one person that really, really is like obsessed with the doctor is the observer, who's seeing all the amazing things they can do. Of course, not realizing that it's not real, but still, then that person turns and says, oh, the reason we can't see them is because everything, they're away from their home, and like, oh, no backup. So
now we can take advantage of their precious resources.
It's just a really interesting way to like bring this alien creature close together. I love the fighting at the end, though, but
the face off at the end is great. And I really do. Janeway says it. Nice touch. I really do love the pips.
I love that, how they appear.
The change of color, the pips, the command pips appear. It's so fun. I love it so much.
Yeah, when the doctor takes over during the Borg attack, it really is fun to watch.
It's so fun. It's kind of like, it's as close as it gets, like a cheesy action movie.
Yeah.
And they have permission to be really, really cheesy.
Yeah, because it's a fantasy.
Imagination.
Yeah, and he goes, over my dead program. So good.
I'm very aware of who you are. Just dismissing the Borg.
But when the Borg blows up in the imagination, and the turds go, oh,
yes,
like, it was so cute.
They destroyed a Borg sphere in one hit. Like, yes, that would be terrifying.
This is also a bit where the sciencey part of this episode is confusing to me, because I guess it's just like Star Trek cliche to have ship hiding in nebula that can't be scanned.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And so you kind of just are like, yeah, I can get that. But a Borg ship blowing up that close to the scanner ship, and they didn't sense it, they didn't see it. And of course our turd buddy is not wanting to, like, he's coming up with a reason why they can't see it, because it was eviscerated or whatever. I just don't believe that at all. So that it kind of falls apart a bit for me in that way, but it's still fun to watch.
These bureaucrats that are so specific, and their job is to surveil, they're very quickly okay with the fact that this Borg sphere appeared out of nowhere and then disappeared just as quickly. Like, there's lots of stuff that they're conveniently dismissing with no good reason. There is, I will say, I'm going to give the episode a big compliment here, because he very reassuringly does something sensible. When the daydreams start to go wrong and Chakotay appears out of nowhere,
yes.
He knows that he's daydreaming. What's the first thing that he does?
He asks the computer to locate Chakotay.
And then he goes straight to engineering and tells everybody about it. He doesn't try and hide it. He doesn't pull a Barclay and just bury himself in his room, try and fix it himself. I just had a lot of comfort from him going to the smart people and saying, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I need your help to fix this. Love that.
There's a lot of advancing the story that Voyager does that I am confident TNG watchers appreciate, because you can get so into the same format of telling a story that it becomes predictable. And so when a story will resolve what could have been a problem the whole episode, really quickly, it's like, ooh, well, what's the next problem gonna be?
What are we doing now?
Yeah, and that makes it fun.
I love that. And of course, that leads to, in my memory, again, rent-free, is the Doctor getting stuck into another delusion in engineering.
With the warp core.
But this time with Sarcastic Computer.
Oh,
it's so
Sarcastic
fun.
Computer is so fun.
Just the best. Sarcastic Majel Barrett. Warp core breach sooner than you expect.
Yes.
Warning, last chance to be a hero, Doctor. Get going. Just priceless.
Where this episode really kicks off for me is in the next scene where now the crew is aware of what's going on with the Doctor. Now they know that things are happening, and so they've contained him and he's talking to himself. I love it so much. The one that hit me really hard is when he says, so he's talking to himself, and then while he's in his he's in this daydream, he's at a party. And he's just talking to himself and everything.
Ambassador.
He's like, hey, it's good to see you or whatever. And then he walks into the containment field and he goes, ow, pardon me, miss. I love that part so much.
It's so goofy.
Ugh, I love that so much.
So, and here in this moment, there's another yikes, which is, and they highlight a lot of the yikes moments in this episode.
Yeah.
B'Elanna says, we've hooked his imagination up to the holodeck so that we can watch it for clues. I'm like, you bastards. There are other ways you could do this. You could get the computer to watch it and look for patterns. Guess what? Computers are really good at pattern recognition. It could find immediately the daydream that appears the most and then use that as an access point. You did not need to hook this man up to the holodeck so that you could watch his saucy daydreams. But that's a choice that you made.
Okay. My memory is failing me at this point. What did they learn inside the holodeck that helped them know what was going on? They
learned, and this is brilliant. Harry is our narrator for this. Harry has been in this for hours apparently, and he knows that the ECH daydream, the command daydream, that's the one that has come up again and again. It comes up the most, and Harry's like, this is my favorite one. I like this bit. Because so that's the access point. So that's the one that the most stable element of the program, and that's their way to get in and hack it. Fucking fine, whatever.
Okay.
But that's the logic that they give behind it. Really, it's so that everybody can see it and be embarrassed, and B'Elanna can get mad, and Seven can expose him, and Janeway can have the sentimental moment where she gets to conveniently see the Doctor say, the only reason I want to do this is to protect the people that I love.
I think there's also this sort of next series. He shifts in and out of daydreams really quickly. It's kind of like his program is pretty glitchy at this point. And you know that this is the show's attempt at making something funny happen. Like there is a moment where B'Elanna's like, you can't leave me. And so it's an opportunity for like this very
Tom is
stoic.
Tom's in the corner and just goes,
waves. Hi. Yeah. So they're having fun and they're turning relationships on their head.
Yeah. There's something you might have missed, and it is when they first go into the holodeck, and it's, Harry has the you better come and take a look at this cliche, and they're watching the Doctor paint Seven. And if we ever watch this episode again, I want you to pay special attention to Harry Kim, who is standing back right, stiff as a board, awkward as fuck. Just his acting steals that scene from me. I know all eyes are on Seven's lower back, but he is there stiff as a board, eyes wide open, doing some incredible acting. He's not being pervy. Nope. He's just like, I can't unsee this.
I think one of the reasons why I'm recognizing that it didn't make me uncomfortable is because it didn't make Seven uncomfortable.
And I love that.
She is
matter of fact.
The matter of fact, like the most like, yep, that's a body. You know what I mean? It's not like she's not going, oh, I'm so embarrassed, or something like that.
Jane was like, he does the hands very well.
Yeah,
I
love it.
Indeed.
Does the hand, and then it pans over and there's all these different ones and it's the hands and yeah.
It's interesting how they ride that line. It really, really is.
It is.
I do love that we, the next bit, which is the overlooker, his head in his hands.
Oh, he's very...
As he realizes that it doesn't make sense. He's jumping from location to location, and his entire world, he just face palms. His entire world is falling apart.
It's imploding quickly.
He done fucked up.
He done fucked up. But there is also a moment I just want to touch on real quickly, and it's when Janeway sees the next shift of the Doctor. B'Elanna leaves. They're all leaving. They're like, okay, I'm out of this holodeck. This is a nightmare. But Janeway she's leaving, and then the shift is him receiving like an award of some kind. And she kind of gets to see that even in his fantasies, he really, at the heart of it, just wants to help.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
And it really does help the end make sense that she doesn't say to him, I'm going to give you command. It's, we're going to investigate how to do this. And that's the right answer.
100%.
If this episode ended with yep, everything has been displayed that we need to ensure that you have
ECH.
what it takes. Yeah.
Here's your pips.
Yeah. They're not ready for that yet. The show isn't ready for that yet, but it's exploring those ideas. And I think it's interesting. Sometimes you can think that somebody isn't being very genuine, but if you had a chance to look into their mind, their daydreams, and like really see their heart, and you know that it's true, that even in their deepest part, he's not trying to take over to be nefarious or
like ego, or
like ego is part of it.
Yeah.
But it's a founded one. If you have all the knowledge of a computer, just like I love data, he's like, well, of course I'm the best equipped for this. You know, he's just very blunt about how equipped he is, how he is the right person for the job. I use the word person.
You take it back right now.
But Janeway gets to see that even in that quiet moment when no one's looking, that the Doctor is genuine. That was a really kind of special moment. And then it shifts over and we see that Turd is shocked.
It's one of the things that I love about Janeway as a captain is that she is, not always, but she's good at compromise. She does listen to her people, and she is very kind of like centered. And when she says like he's a member of the crew and I don't want any member of my crew to feel uncomfortable, she means that, and she really wants that to be true
I
for
believe
the Doctor.
her. I like Janeway. I think she has a really good approach. I think that
I love her command style.
She's really wanting everyone to be comfortable, and she does have to write an interesting line with the crew of making sure that everybody's kind of getting along. They're stuck together.
And this is her first command. This is her first time being captain. She was always a science officer. I can't fully remember why she jumped to command. I think it was like the Voyager mission was really interesting to her. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, she is still newish to being a captain, which I think is, I often overlook that.
I also like the moment when Janeway goes to see the patient, the real patient. And there's a moment when he talks about permanent damage because he has been exposed and humiliated, and the respect has been lost. I think every one of us has a moment where something really embarrassing happens, something that feels exposing and humiliating, and you feel like you're never going to recover from it. And I've had many of those in my life, and it does feel like permanent damage. I replay them sometimes I wake up from a nightmare remembering like how embarrassed I was in certain situations. The worst one I ever had, I think it's one of the worst ones I ever had, was when I was in radio, and we went to a concert, and it was one of the biggest artists in the industry at the time. And they were doing a private concert at this venue, and there was probably like 500 people there. And somehow my radio partner, Mr. Aaron Dicer, had convinced the artist to let us sing/rap the big part of the song with her on stage. And he drops this on me before the concert starts, and we're practicing it. We've heard this song so many times because we play it every single morning, multiple times, like we know it. I get on stage and my part's coming up and I've got it, and I go to take a breath and my throat closes completely up. And I go, and it's not like the song stopping, the band, it's a live band. And I start coughing. Oh no. I'm standing in front of this audience. It's like nightmare.
Right as the nativity starts.
I turn my head to cough, and I just give Aaron this look like eyes wide, I'm dying. And so he takes over and takes it over. But I was so mortified that I had dropped the ball, not just in front of one of the most well-known artists in this industry, but also in front of all these people, many of whom I know. And I walked off that stage and I was like, well, I hope that I cried myself to sleep that night. Anyway, what I love about that scene with the doctor is that I really related to him in that moment.
You just want to crawl.
You just want to disappear.
I'm amazed he isn't off. Like, I want to be in oblivion right now. Like, the saying is, I wish like the ground would open me up and swallow me. He has that option. He can turn himself off.
He could, or he could just delete the memory.
Well, Janeway should come in and turn him on, and he's like, nope, turn myself off again. Like, nope, not talking to anybody. Nope.
But she says, no, you never lose my respect. And what I love about that moment is that that's what real life is like. When you're in the worst of it, that's when you know you found good people, when they just move on. You move on from it, and they just never talk about it again. Like when you're younger, I think people like to razz each other and kind of like make it a big deal, and maybe that kind of feels fun. But as time goes on, we all know what that feeling is like, and you just kind of like, yep, that happened. Let's just move on. I'll bury it with you.
Put it down to experience.
And I love that Janeway did that. And honestly, that made him really like real for me, because he's sitting there just thinking about all of his most like closest friends and allies having seen his fantasies. And though the episode does not explore that his fantasies that he just decided to program for himself in the last 48 hours immediately involved women fawning over him, like it was an interesting thing to explore. So
yeah, completely agree. It's a really, really special moment. I think everything Janeway does, from like, I'm exploring legal precedents to see if a hologram can be in command. There are none. She's really doing the work to be like, okay, how can the parts of this plan that make sense, how can we make it happen? Yeah, love that.
So we kind of are moving on towards like, how is this going to resolve at this point in the episode? Because the aliens have decided to attack their ship. And there's 3 ships coming in to take over Voyager. But now our turd buddy is like in big trouble, and he decides to do this very clever thing where he basically hacks into the doctor's programming, starts up another hallucination that the doctor knew he shouldn't be experiencing, and inserts himself into it. How does this technology work? I have no fucking clue.
Just
Star Trek shit.
Radio waves.
You know how sometimes they over-explain things in technobabble, and you're like, okay, I didn't need that much. This is like the pendulum swing the other direction.
Yeah, we're not going to give you a single inverted polaron beam to explain how any of this works.
Oh, boy.
Magnets, how do they fucking work?
But it is really cool because suddenly they're seeing each other, and in this next really cute moment, he gets to fanboy over the doctor.
Oh, he does. He gets to like just literally, this is the attention that the doctor has been wanting. At the very beginning of it, this episode cracks me up. It's so funny, and so much of it is Robert Picardo's delivery. But he's like, doctor to the bridge. I'm daydreaming again. Somebody switch me off. Someone come down here and deactivate me.
Yeah.
He's just like, nope, not dealing with this shit. Not doing it.
He says, I care what happens to you. I've gotten to know you. And the doctor says, you know fantasies, not me. And he says, I do. I know how your mind works, what your hopes are. You created all these possibilities. My species were different. Our thinking is confined. But I can't help but admire you. It's
so great because it does tie into his personality of like taking a chance on Voyager, being independent, doing a run around his boss to get approval. Yeah. And he's like, you're doing the thing that I want to do, but in my culture, I can't. I'm a science specialist. I'm surveillance specialist. I'm sat at my alcove. That's what I do all day long.
And it's strange because it is like a peeping Tom situation. Because at one time he's like, well, you deserve this because you're a peeping Tom. But he has come to care for the doctor, and he says, I don't want you to be harmed. Yeah. And I was like, oh, Turd loves him.
Turd loves him. Let's go save the day.
And then he goes, yeah, I suppose we should swing into action. And there they go.
You love it.
So then he goes and he talks to Janeway. This part is really unbelievable to me because...
Oh, okay. Hit me.
Imagine having spent the last however many hours realizing that your doctor is fantasizing and creating all of these things. And then he comes in with a fantastical creation situation. Mm-hmm. It's resolved pretty quickly. I think she would just be like, okay, run a diagnostic check. He's obviously daydreaming again. And
I love how pissed she gets.
She's just
him.
like, what the hell, dude? Like, you weren't supposed to do that. You said you weren't going to do that anymore.
But he does have the code to see the cloaked ships.
Yeah,
That's it.
He does.
What I like about this finale is that now the Doctor is faced with reality of doing the thing that he's been asking to do. And this is where like and it's hard because this is all made up stuff and it's all written, so it's only as real as the writers who are writing it. But he is genuinely concerned about fucking it up. He's like, I'm nervous. And I'm like, who programmed him to be nervous? Like, why is it helpful for a doctor to be nervous? I guess maybe that makes him risk averse with like, okay, I won't do this brain tumor surgery because there's a risk involved, and maybe having nerves helps you assess that risk about whether you should do it or not. But he's like, I can't do this because I'm gonna mess it up. I can't be in command. So it's interesting
that interesting.
He has to face the daydream, but that is paralyzing to him.
Yes, it is interesting. It's also making me think about how Data is different too. Like,
he doesn't have the emotions.
Data would want to introduce emotions because then it makes him less reliable. Whereas a doctor is like, I'll be nervous and I'll have all these quirks and things, but that kind of maybe inhibits him from making the best decisions if he didn't add or quicker decisions.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Bedside manner is an interesting thing to add into a character. The Doctor is a really fascinating character.
The baffling thing is he doesn't have bedside manner because he has a really abrasive personality. So.
Well, he has his own version of bedside manner, which is Mr. Sassy Pants.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, they have decided that they're going to now do a Type 4 assault because when the bad guys get to the ship, they don't see any attack damage from the Borg. And so there's some there's some curiosity
if this is wrong,
there.
Maybe everything is wrong.
I have to say, while I'm thinking of it, one of the things I love about how they put together this alien species is how they insert their input into the little thing to get the information. Yes,
I always remember that. And
it's
then the little
really cool.
Hierarchy approves.
Yeah, it's just this sort of, it reminds me of Spock's brain in a way, where there's another organization that's taking care of all of the details, and you have to refer to that before you can think for yourself.
We find out the hierarchy is just a computer program or something.
Just Spock's brain.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I need more hierarchy. I really do. There's such an interesting, non-threatening, threatening species, because the implication is that they would have fucked Voyager up if he hadn't helped them. Like cloaking devices, big massive weapons. Voyager doesn't stand a chance against these aliens.
No, and that's the fun
so
bit.
Interesting.
And our guy on the inside, our lovely turd boy, is now doing everything he can, but a bit of it's out of control. What a clever thing to do as an episode. At this point, we're like, level 3, we've got the information, we can relax. But when they go to level 4 and our guy on the inside is shocked, and we don't really even know about it, he tries to get information to us quickly, like, hey, this is going to be bad. It's a Type 4 assault. We're going to be changing our phaser arrays or whatever. Then it's just like, well, let's just see what our crew does. And that's when the episode should shine, is when everybody falls into their roles. But they have given everyone a different role, because even though it's just a switcheroo of who's the captain, Tuvok has to act differently. Everyone has to act a little differently so that the ruse can go as long as it can.
I mean, kudos to Tuvok's improv abilities with the photonic cannon.
That was great.
Yeah, that was so fun. Lots of humor with the Doctor overacting, and Janeway's just like, don't let's improv Doctor, or like stick to the script.
Yeah.
Like don't embellish anything more, thank you.
Did you think though that the Doctor? I thought the Doctor did a really good job after he kind of got over his nerves. Did you like that scene altogether?
Oh, I love it so much when he actually takes command, jumps up and just runs with it, and obviously commands the photonic cannon and just delivers it with confidence. I don't really know what switch is in him, but I think it's like, I've got to do something now. It's that when they actually fire, like Tuvok gets the shield frequency, whatever he's done, but the return hit is really devastating. And then he's like, oh shit, all of my people are going to die. I have to step up now. That's when it kicks in. Like, that's the kick that he needed to be captain.
And Janeway's in his ear saying it's time to negotiate.
Yes, exactly.
And instead, he's like, he goes,
I got this.
The Borg, the hierarchy, it's just another bully that doesn't know when to back off.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay.
Okay, Doc.
Okay. And then, of course, our turd on the inside's like, we'll be vaporized. He's just whispering in the ear. Then there's this click, click, click on their little tab. It goes into the hierarchy and like, yeah, it's a good time to back off. We don't really need it anyway. So there's this, relief there. And then he gets to sit in the chair because he earned it. And he's just very smiley and stuff like that. So.
It's a really wholesome episode overall. Like, it's a really earned, happy ending. There doesn't have to be like too much terrible shit that happens to bring about the redemption. A new alien introduced, which is one of your...
I like this alien a bunch.
Yeah, this is one of your like prerequisites for a good episode of Star Trek. Like, what you want is give me a new alien. Like, show me a new alien.
I want to see some really fun prosthetic work. And they're like little ship. They had several of them too. There were like 5 different actors inside those prosthetics. They were really good.
Yeah. Nope.
Nope.
Love it so much. Yeah, so I guess overall, Pips Ambassador. How many pips are you giving this?
I'm going to give it a 3 point.
You can't. It's 3 or 4.
3 pips.
4 pips for me.
I think it's a 3 point. How many can I go? 4 pips is the highest?
4 is the max, yeah.
Wow, you're going to go max on it.
Yeah, I am. And it's for...
I'm tempted.
It's for what it does as well. Like, it is deliberately a humor episode, but it's also... I do think it's just cresting into what makes the Doctor a person. And we've complained about Strange New Worlds bringing up a topic and then not fully exploring it. This doesn't fully explore it, but it does lay the groundwork for stuff that happens, that I know happens in season 6 and 7, which is the Doctor a person and what rights does he has as an individual. And this is leading into that. So I think this episode is so much fun. I come back to it again and again.
Yeah. I think a 3.5 to 4 is really, really smart. And since I can't go 3.5, I really do think that there's an opportunity for a 4 pip here because it does a lot of unique things. And the amount of times that we chuckled, like we were all watching it together, we were watching it with Ian's parents and there was like laughter. And when the show ended, your dad said, that was a good episode. Like,
he's not a huge Voyager fan. He
so
won't choose to watch Voyager. That was nice.
It's fun. You're right. It hits on some really good themes. It does unique things. I think that the borderline on what they're doing with the Doctor and the women is entirely unneeded to a certain degree, but oddly, I think the way that they went about it worked.
I agree.
In a weird way. And
I agree.
I'm going to be thinking about that a lot because as we talked about it, it does hit on some things that I wish we didn't do in our advertising, in our media, exploiting the women form for views. Maybe it would have been better to also have him be attracted to anyone else besides all 3 of the power women.
Right.
Throw in something unique there so that he doesn't appear to be programmed to be a creep.
Create a new woman. Create a new crew member that falls in love with him.
Part of his programming is to think that is okay.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing, isn't it?
It's not, he might have said, I want to explore daydreaming, but then all of a sudden it's like you realize that part of the agreement that you clicked on to go to that website also means that you're like getting fished in all this weird way. It's like,
the thing is, he built the website. Like,
he turned on his programming and realized somewhere down the line, someone put something in there that was like creepy.
Yeah, but it was him because he wrote the program.
He wrote his own program.
Yeah, he wrote the daydreaming program.
Well, I'm saying that when he said daydream, it kicked in something that was already inside his programming and amplified it.
Oh, interesting.
That's what I assumed was happening. Is that this was just sort of a...
Right.
He didn't type in like, I want to daydream about 3 women. It was more like, I want to daydream. And then this is just sort of what came out.
Pull it from my character.
Yeah.
Pull it from my experiences. Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense.
I don't know. Yeah. So that for me maybe makes it a 3. I'll say a 3 because I would have liked it to...
I'm with you.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I completely get you. Yeah, completely get it. Okay, there is no time for emails this week. We went so deep and so long on this episode. We will be getting to some messages next week. We got some lovely stuff that's been popping up in the Discord that we want to talk about. But right now, bear with me as we do some plugging stuff, starting with next week's episode, the last episode in the What the Fuck Won the Fun, What the Fun series. Your votes came in. It was very close. We almost had an episode of Deep Space Nine, but slightly pulling ahead was season 2, episode 12 of TNG, the Royale. I am surprised that this made it all the way to the top. I'm also very, very happy that it made it. I guess not to the top. It made it to number 10. But I'm very, very happy it made it because I don't know many circumstances where we talk about the Royale. So yeah, really, really excited to wrap up the season with that one and to introduce Deanna Deanna. God damn it.
I love it when you call me Deanna.
It's great. To
It's
introduce
my favorite.
Balana to...
Balana?
That was deliberate.
De la Balana?
De Balana. To introduce Deneé to an episode I think you're gonna really love. You're gonna have a lot of fun with it. On the other side of plugs, if you didn't listen to our Buffer Time episode last week, we did have an announcement, which was the next season of Captain's Pod, which is going to be a mini celebration of 4 years of doing the show. We will be doing what I personally have dubbed the Locutus arc. It is not every episode to do with Locutus, but it is the core saga of Locutus. So it's going to be Q-Who, which I know doesn't include Locutus, but you know why I'm picking that one. The Best of Both Worlds, Part 2, and then First Contact, the second TNG movie. So we have got some of the biggest hitting episodes in our anniversary season. It felt right since we started with Picard to do a kind of anniversary special that focuses on Picard as well. So yeah, super duper excited to do that over December and into the new year. Ambassador, would you like to plug the new thing that we're doing exclusively for our patrons?
Yes, I would. I decided the other night to just follow an impulsive idea that I had, and we posted it. It is called Escape Pod, and we are testing a little series right now. I have no idea how long it's going to be running, but it's available only to our tieflingers. We are going to include a little teaser in the outtakes of this episode so that you can listen to it. The brief concept is that I am the game master for a Star Trek world that Ian is playing inside of. And it's a little scary for me because Ian knows so much more about Star Trek. And usually when you're the game master, you know more than the people playing. At least that's the idea. So we're testing this little thing. It's been really, really fun. The episodes tend to be about 10 minutes or so right now because I can't stay in that mode very long because I am scared.
The one that we just recorded, episode 3, has some canon affirming shit that happens.
So we will continue to do this. The fun part of it is that we don't feel like we have to do it with our professional setup. Literally, we were just doing it straight into the phone microphone the other night, and we're just releasing them literally straight to Patreon. So we finished recording and we're just like, well, let's just send it out. So it's a bit raw and fun, but we wanted to do something kind of extra special for you guys that are our supporters. And I know like things change. Not everybody can stay a tieflinger. That's completely fine. We don't expect you guys to be giving us any of your resources for us to keep going. We love doing Captain's Pod, but those of you who have been giving, we're saving up our little money. We're squirreling it away. We have hopes to buy, like, for example, a sticker printer so that we can print little stickers of the characters that we're talking about or of the Derper Prize. So we plan to put those funds straight back into our community in these fun and interesting ways. I have some really exciting ideas for 2026 that I would love to be able to do. And so we will be releasing those and talking about them here on the show and on Discord and of course on Patreon. So thank you guys for your support, whether you're following us for free on Patreon, which you can do, or following us as a tieflinger.
You can find all of those links and such in the description. Ian at iananddeneé.com for any emails and any questions, qualms, queries or such. Patreon.com/iananddeneé. And if you want to catch this chaotic live show recording that we do every single week, you can get that youtube.com/@iananddeneé and twitch.tv/Deneé says. There is stuff that you'll see that 100% never makes it into the episode, and you can use that as a deterrent or an encouragement at your leisure. But until next week, I'm Captain Ian, and Warning, last chance to be a hero.
That's really, really funny. And it's, don't expect me to pose for you from me.
That's so perfect. Live long and Podsper.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Captain's Pod. If you'd like to get in touch with the podcast, you can send us an email to ian@iananddeneé.com. And if you want to support the show and get the episodes early, you can go to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/iananddeneé. If you want to catch the show live, we have those links down in the description for YouTube and Twitch. And then I think I'm supposed to close this hailing frequency, so bloop bloop, we're out. I feel like we need to have like a cough alert. Yeah, I'm gonna make a new banner.
Right, can I like give you a big C? God damn it.
Cough alert! Cough alert! We took his parents to the park so they could see all the lights. They have over 1 million Christmas lights at the park. It's beautiful. And we got on the train. It's the old steam train. And they stop in the middle of the dark forest. And the lights come on in the forest. And there is an old man in a rocking chair recounting the true story of Christmas that includes, of course, the retelling of Jesus's birth. And everyone's quiet, solemnly reflecting until it says, "And unto you born this day in the city of David." And Ian apparently had been holding in a cough for so long that when he let it out, it was earth-shattering.
And it wouldn't stop.
And he couldn't get it under control. Solid 4-5 minutes of just hacking along.
The rest of the nativity story, people are recording it, and this wasn't like a subtle cough. This was, that man is dying. He's probably going through chemotherapy cough. Like, it was
people concerned.
An elderly gentleman, I'm going to say in his 70s, tapped me on my shoulder.
He did.
Handed me a handkerchief to cough into, like, and just it was all like, "Bless you, my child. This is your final moment." My logic was, like, I like to really test my boundaries, and coughing and like sneezing and like a compulsion like that. I imagine if I'm on the run, someone's going to murder me, or if I'm at war, if I'm in the jungle, whatever, someone's chasing me, I'm going to get stabbed or something. I'm like, you would not make a move, not make a sound. This is life or death. So I'm like, I can pretend that this is life or death and not cough. And then it just came out with me and I was like, oh, I guess I died. Like, I would die in this moment because I cannot contain this cough. But then all of the holding it back,
it made it worse.
It was the worst
so bad.
cough I've ever had.
It was really bad.
Hideous.
Wondering wants to know how often you've been in the jungle with someone chasing you.
I just want to be ready. I just want to be ready, okay? Fortunate. It's like, I want to have this skill and not need it, than need the skill and not have it.
He was sick before we got married.
I was sick during, like the day before I started to lose my voice. And yeah, the day of, I could have easily stayed in bed all day. I was sick as a dog. Ambassador, overall thoughts and feelings. Did you enjoy this episode in our What the Fun series? Really, really. Don't you steal my thunder.
I do have to ask you a serious question.
Do it.
At what point do you decide you should not be doing the show again today?
No, never. We're too far. We're too deep.
We're too deep in.
Too deep. Tomorrow, everybody. Happy birthday tomorrow.
Can I tell them about what I'm getting?
You can, absolutely. Yeah.
I know I'm learning things. Ian and I have been living together for 6 months.
5.5.
And there's a lot of things that we've known each other for
4 years?
4.5. No, it's been longer than that.
Oh shit. 5 years.
Yeah. We've known each other for 5 years.
5 years this month. It could be 5 years to the day. It's very close.
That'd be crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, I messaged you the end of November.
There are things that I am learning still and always will be because he's an evolving man, but about Ian and his subtle nature sometimes.
Where is this going?
So
No, I know where this is going. Sorry.
I filled up my water to water the plants, and then in comes Ian, and he's watering a plant. And I take note because I want to make sure I don't water the plants that he's watering, right? And I noticed that the water bottle that I just filled is missing half of its water, which tells me that he's been watering more plants than the one that I can see. And so I want to know which plants he's been watering. And I ask him, and he's just completely ignores me. And so, I say it again, and I'm like, well, which plant were you doing? And he's like, yep. I'm like, man, this is kind of rude. Ian, what plant were you watering before? And I just keep asking, and he just keeps doing this weird evasive thing. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Just tell me what plant it is.
Keep
just
him guessing. Don't give him time to adapt.
Just tell me the plant. And his parents are like, a little awkward because he was watering my birthday present that I'm going to be surprised with tomorrow. Some plants, which I am getting new plants. I'm really excited about this. I have potentially ruined that I now know that I'm getting plants because I was too observant. Next thing that happens is he leaves the receipt for the plants in a place where I just happened to see it. I'm like, ooh, he went to Wickman Garden for plants. That's a good one. And then my favorite moment, we come downstairs where he hid the plants, forgetting to put them anywhere else. And they're just literally right over there. They're really pretty, guys. I'm going to go get a... I'm so happy. Look how pretty they are.
Honestly, the best present we could get her, honestly.
I'm so happy. Oh my God. Anyway, so sorry I didn't understand that your subtlety was meant to be like, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to. Kind of missed that. Sci-Fi Bronies, what the fuck is they never do answer why they didn't detect the nebula and the hierarchy hiding until they were right on top of it.
Yeah, they make it sound like the nebula is this like suddenly appearing phenomenon, but did the hierarchy create the nebula? What is it? Wondering makes an even better point. The nebula apparently suddenly appeared, and then they can hide in it. Why the fuck do they need to hide in a nebula when they have cloaking technology?
Who doesn't want to hide in a nebula?
Me.
It's kind of like if you had the opportunity to jump into a pillow fort, you would do that if it was there.
Not if I was Mr. Invisible. I'd be doing other things.
Creepy, like Hollow Doctor things? Or?
No, like sneaking in to watch movies whenever I want.
Half Klingon, half Vulcan. Now that would be interesting. Is B'Elanna not actually half Vulcan?
She's half... No. She's half Klingon, half human.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Her mother was Klingon. Her father is human. I think her father actually divorced her mother. I think
I think her father died during lovemaking.
I think that's very fair. Yes.
Have we ever seen a half Vulcan, half Klingon?
No, not to my knowledge. Discovery would be the best place to find that. It's you.
I want that. Would a Vulcan mate, would a Klingon mate with a Vulcan, and would a Vulcan do that? Like, is that logical?
Yeah. Love conquers all.
Would the Doctor feel more like a person if they gave him a name like they originally planned, asks Saruthi. Does he not have a name?
No, he's just Doctor. He doesn't have a name.
Does he want to name himself?
He tries and fails.
Because
he couldn't decide on a name that he liked. And then the one that he did decide, the person who he used it the most with died. So he's like, I don't want to have that name anymore because it reminds me of her.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Jomo says, could you also acknowledge the Doctor, as a hologram, has rights and responsibilities, but also acknowledge that he should choose to make a sacrifice for the good of the ship?
Well, that's the problem.
Easily an option.
That's the problem with choosing to make a sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice if it's been forced, or it's not a choice if it's been forced on you.
Right. I think the point is that like the Doctor should make that choice. The Doctor should acknowledge that it's a good choice to just turn off for a little bit.
He should, I guess. Yes. Even
if it only saves them like 70 gigajilliwatts of energy, which is not much.
I guess just where's the line?
Because
he does turn himself off, but maybe there's just like half an hour where he wants to think and not be in oblivion.
History says there's a difference between you should get some rest and you should just shut down.
Agreed. Yes, there is.
And that's, I guess, maybe more of the point that I'm missing is that there is a way of talking about it that is more appropriate and respectful to the Doctor instead of just treating him like a
tool,
computer program.
A tricorder, a replicator.
Oh, we're going to get Stargate?
Oh, Stargate's coming back as well. That's the other news.
Shut the fucking front door. I
Same-
loved Stargate.
You loved Stargate? Get out of here. I don't know this about you.
Sir.
What's your favorite series?
Hold on a second.
The
Talking about
movie or the TV,
or the TV show?
You dick. Are you talking about the movie?
Of course I'm talking
Oh,
about
for
the movie.
fuck's sake, Deneé. The TV show. I was like, there is no way you've consumed 4 TV series or three. Stargate, SG-1, Atlantis, Universe. Yeah, I think there's just 3. Anyway, there's no way you've consumed all of them.
I would
great.
watch that
So
with
good.
you though, because I loved the Stargate movie. Oh my
Let's do
God.
it.
That was
I
one of my
actually really
favorite
like the Stargate movie.
sci-fi
No, it is good.
movies that was coming out. Like that might be the alien creature that was like really effeminate. It was really effeminate.
Yeah.
Like that's when I was like, I think I'm bisexual. Like that
There we go.
that's a thing right there. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. My hair's doing some crazy things that I'm not happy with, but it's okay. It's not like this is a visual medium. It's fine.
What's going on?
I don't know why you mentioned it. I'm fine.
I don't know why I mentioned it either.
I need to pee, actually.
It's a great time to do it because we haven't started.
Let's do it.
He does it. He holds everything in. He holds in his coughs. He holds in his pee. But he doesn't hold in his love for you. I know that was a little disgusting. I'm so sorry.